My goodness. My goodness. Man, let me get me a drink real quick. Another drink. Oh, my goodness. That game left you dehydrated. Before I get into this, got to give a shout out to the Philadelphia 76ers. This is a team that came in, what was it? 11 men down. Came out with a purpose tonight against those Houston Rockets. That has to be the best or the greatest first half of basketball for one team for a shot making I've seen in a long time. Everything the 76ers put up was coming down through the nets, and majority was threes. Now, the Houston Rockets came in this game with no energy whatsoever. And just like every other fan of these Houston Rockets in that first half, you had your head in your hands. You trying to figure out how could a team come out with a 6-game winning streak and put out that type of performance. No energy, no fire, lethargic. And this team was running up and down the floor looking to put the Houston Rockets away, and that's exactly what they did. Up to a 25-point lead. 76ers were hustling, they were scrapping, not only hitting threes, but driving to the hole, hitting every tough layup that you could find. And you just sit back and you look at this game and you're like, okay, when is it going to end? A team can start out hot, but you believe it's going to filter off maybe the second quarter. Never did. They stayed hot. They stayed aggressive. Quentin Grimes, if you didn't know who this guy was, you know who he is now. And really, I didn't know he was that close to Houston. So that explains the fire he came with tonight. The shot making by Quentin Grimes, broadcast said it best. It was just as good as Kevin Durant coming in the building, lighting you up. Any major superstar in this league, that's what it looked like by Quentin Grimes. The shot making, the driving, the quick hitch, getting to the basket, tough layups, and the Rockets were sleepwalking that whole first half. It was some key things that happened in this ball game that really turned it around. First, M.U. Doka recognizing early in this game, no energy. They're coming out there like they wasn't even involved in the game, wasn't interested in the game. And what did he do? He went to his bench, what we always talk about for weeks. If you don't come out there with the energy, it's time for you to go sit on the bench. The first move he made early was sending Alper Sengun to the bench. Not shuffling his feet, not playing with no defensive intensity. They were shooting threes. They were picking on him. He wasn't sliding his feet. He just wasn't in that action quick enough to at least contest, at least stop some of those threes. His rotations are just bad. Emu Doka got him out of there. For his offense, he just didn't have enough awareness on offense to start early. You know, he gets crowded. They knock the ball out of his hands. He was indecisive on what he wanted to do. So, yeah, rightfully so. Take him out. Get some guys in there who have some energy. He brings in Jock Landale. Let me tell you, if it wasn't for Tari Eason and Jock Landale in this game early, coming with their fire and their scrappiness, Houston wouldn't have been around long enough, let alone overtime. They wouldn't have been around in the fourth quarter if it wasn't for their production. Jock Landale came in there full of energy, not only getting the putbacks, but he was rebounding. He was defending. Tari Eason is the only player that came out from start to finish, full of the energy. You won't have to worry about him coming with the energy in each game. He will bring that. Before the mistakes or missing layups here and there, or over dribbling sometimes, you can put that to the side. When a guy comes with 110% effort, like he does, scrappy and working hard, you can bypass some of the mistakes he makes. But without those two guys, this is not even a ball game to get into it to win it. Second half rolls around, this team finally woke up. They woke up. They had a couple of scrums, technical fouls, had some bad calls in there, especially the one that took Fred VanVleet out. That wasn't a flagrant foul to me. I just don't see that. The momentum on a guy sprinting out on a fast break, of course, you're going to have a guy approaching him, with some momentum. He has to hurry up and get to him to stop a layup. Just his momentum alone is going to knock him a little off balance, but he had to make sure he doesn't put up the layup, which he did. He hit the ball, a little bit came across his body, but it was not a dirty play. In my opinion, it wasn't even a wind-up. So that was an unfortunate call for Fred VanVleet to get kicked out of his game. Then we had Tari Eason out of this game, delivering a technical foul, I might add, on his way out, giving them an extra point. This was a wild game, folks. It had a lot of things going on in this ball game. That's what made this victory sweet. Do you hear me? It made it sweet. Everything happened in this ball game, and it seemed like it was all going against the Rockets. For them to come out and dig out a win like this, it means a lot. This is going to go down in the history books, and actually, which it did. 25-point deficit on a comeback. Positioning for playoffs, this game right here is going to pay big dividends. This was complete teamwork, getting back in this ball game and winning it. You did this without Fred VanVleet. You did this without Tari Eason. You did this without Dillon Brooks down the stretch. Remember, these guys pitched in early, but they wasn't there late. When it mattered the most, the young guys had to pull this one out. And don't forget Noah Man Thompson. Jabari Smith, outstanding game. A guy who's been benched since his injury, coming off with a power punch. No pouting, coming there about his business. Just clutch guy. The three-point shooting, the rebounding, the hustling. You can't say enough about Jabari Smith Jr. Young guy, man. He just wants to go out there and play. Don't matter if he comes off the bench or if he starts. He don't care about any of that. He cares about winning. And the guy comes up big time and time again, and you see he got the little clutch bone in his body. It seems like this guy always hitting big shots. And this was another big one for him. As you can see, 30 points tonight. 30 points coming off the bench. Then he adds 2 steals. 8 rebounds. 5 for 7 from the three-point line. 11 for 17 from the field. Just outstanding production off that bench. We had some other guys that came up big. Jalen Green started off real sloppy in this game. It don't seem like he was in the game as well. He didn't have the body language. His shot selection was bad. He was just off early. But you know what? He stayed with it. He stayed with it, and he ended up having his biggest assist night with 13. Can you imagine that? Jalen Green with 13 assists? Just think about that for a moment. Unbelievable. 2 steals. What we talk about with Jalen Green, he's not being a one-trick pony anymore. He even got 7 rebounds. What we always said about Jalen Green, for his rebounding, he needed to up it up a little bit. 7 is perfect. 6 is nice if he can get that every game. But the assist, it just knocks it off the charts. 5 for 5 from the free throw line. 5 for 17 from the three-point line. Off a little bit, but he stayed at it. 10 for 26 from the field. He found other ways to affect the game. Just found another way. Dillon Brooks, before he left the game, 25 points. Come on, man. 2 steals, 5 assists, 6 rebounds. 5 for 11 from the three-point line, 8 for 19 from the field. This is scrappiness, folks. Nothing pretty. It's just flat out just getting the job done. Pitching in where you can, any way you can help to get a victory. That's what you do. Alper Şengün getting benched in this game. Alper Şengün could have just pouted. I agree. When he went out, yeah, he was frustrated. You could see it in his eyes. When he came in the game, it bothered him. It bothered him bad. But he has to understand you have to start the game ready to go. He didn't start the game ready to go. What he do? He gets inserted back in the ball game. He didn't pout. He didn't put his head down. He just played ball. Yeah, upset, but he still played ball. Now I got two things. I want to praise Emu Udoka, but at the same time, I want to put a foot in his ass. But we're going to praise him first. We're going to give him a shout out first. Emu Udoka diagnosing, understanding, and realizing early that this team didn't have the fight and the fire to start this game, he immediately went to the bench. Throughout this game, the combinations that he was putting together, he was putting players out there who was going to produce, who's going to get down, pull those shorts up, and going to play some defense and be all over the floor. He found the right combinations for the job. You have to give him praise for that. I told you, Emu Udoka coaches on the job. He ain't waiting to the next game. He's not going into a game with a game plan and sticking with it and not willing to switch anything up. No, he coaches second by second, minute by minute, quarter by quarter. What he sees on that basketball floor, that's how he coaches. He can scrap a game plan in a minute and go with something else. That's what makes him great. That's what makes him Emu Udoka. He put the right combinations in this game for this comeback, realizing it early. He's not going to sit back and hope things turn around. Oh, no. So we have to praise him for that. Now I want to put a foot in his ass real quick. And I know all you Houston fans out there looking at it, feeling the same way. When you got 6 seconds left, the first thing you're thinking about, you're down by 3. You got to get something quick. Somebody's already going into the action on the inbound, going into the three-point shot. 6 seconds left, you already knew Nick Nurse and most teams in this league are going to foul you in that situation, going to send you to the free throw line, not even going to allow you to put up a three-pointer. His team comes out of a timeout. He has something drew up where the first guy that gets the ball on the inbound is not even the shooter. He's setting up to toss it back to who's that, Jalen Green, basically coming from the half-court line, trying to get into his action with 6 seconds left. Jabari Smith didn't even have a chance to pass it back to him. They fouled him so quickly. Everyone seen that coming. I didn't understand why Emu Udoka didn't see that coming. You have to go with a quick 3. A quick 3. So that's just one bonehead mistake he made there. But what did he do? Just like Alper Şengün, he didn't duck his head. He didn't pout either. The man continued to coach. He went double big again at the free throw line, putting Steven Adams on one side, Alper Şengün on the other. That's when Alper Şengün got inserted back in this game after being sitting for so long. He comes in and he makes the big play to send this game into overtime. Go figure. Go figure. Then in overtime, they go right to him. Emu Udoka rewards him, puts him back in the game, and he's rolling with him in overtime. He gets an and one. So shouts out to Alper Şengün, not pouting, not ducking his head. Yes, he was upset. You can see that. But getting in this game, getting back focused, being the focal point of the offense in overtime. If Emu Udoka would have stayed with keeping Alper Şengün on that bench, even in overtime, I don't think the Houston Rockets would have won this game. That's how big that was, and that is called coaching. He rewarded him for getting the rebound off the free throw to put it back to send it to overtime. And he made majority of the big plays in overtime to win it. Jalen Green came up with some big shots after having a slow start. Jabari Smith with the big three. Told you it was a team effort. Team effort. Everybody was involved. Tip your hats to the Philadelphia 76ers. I'm not joking. No Joel Embiid. He's gone for the season. They just shut down Paul George. He's out for the season. They had no Tyrese Maxey. Basically, it was like a bunch of role players out there who was out there playing their hearts out pretty much the whole game. Rocket's streak was in jeopardy. It was in jeopardy. Sometimes you just need a switch to happen. Just a switch. One of those switches was the scrums they got into, which we talked about before. They're fighting. How many mini brawls they done got into this year already? We continue to talk about it. This team ain't backing down. Not at all. And you could thank Dylan Brooks for a majority of this, if not all of it. And I love seeing this side of the Houston Rockets. Letting people know early they got each other's back. And when you get in the playoffs, what always usually happens in the playoffs? You get a lot of scrums in the playoffs. People got that win or go home mentality. I mean, every possession is crucial. Tension, tempers, flair, all of that. Every bit of it. So Tari Eason, Jabari Smith, just an outstanding game from both of those guys, but more importantly, outstanding game as a team. A total team win. Completely. I just decided to spotlight these two guys. Huge. And you got Jock Landale. You just don't know how crucial his production was. That 7 points, those 3 rebounds, that three-pointer he hit 1 for 1, 3 for 3 from the field. You have no idea how huge that was. You have no idea. You look at the stat sheet, you be like, yeah, he played all right. He did a little thing and whipped it. No, man, without that, Rockets don't get no win. And you laugh because you see 7 points. And you see 3 rebounds. And you see he hit a three-pointer. And they don't win without that. Because just when that wet pound cake was about to fall apart, Jock Landale came with some new batter. Yeah, new batter and frosting. He put it back together. He held it up. Yeah, without that, they're done. Ain't no fourth quarter comeback. There's no overtime. None of that. Albert Şengün was out for a great amount of time. Think about that. That's your all-star player. And you able to gut a win out and keep it together to the very end until he was inserted back in the lineup. Team, man. That's teamwork. This is a gutsy win by the Houston Rockets. This is one of their greatest and probably the best since this team been together. Yeah, even going to last year. Yeah, year before that. This one here, this game right here, it showed what it was made of. Just outstanding. Just outstanding. So I'm not going to give out no stars tonight. I'm not going to give out an Iron Man. Not going to get no hand claps or anything out tonight. I don't think there's no need for it. We could, but I don't think we need to do it. We just hell-bent on this victory. This huge victory. Keeping this streak alive to 7. It's tight, man. The standings are tight. And the Rockets take care of their business. They won't have to worry about a thing. They took care of home on this stretch. Matter of fact, let's take a peek at these standings real quick. All right, I want you to take a look at that. Take a look at how tight that is. Matter of fact, they don't even have the Rockets win on here yet. Rockets are at 44 wins after beating the 76ers tonight. They still got them at 43, okay? So they have 44 wins, 44 and 25. Look at the Denver Nuggets right underneath them. Everything was not at tight before this game. Look at the Grizzlies. The Nuggets are playing tonight. Be nice if they could lose that game. They playing the Golden State Warriors, actually. The Grizzlies, I got to check on that one, check the score on that one. But it's still going live at 5. The Rockets are in control of their own destiny. All they have to do is take care of their business. Don't worry about what the Nuggets are doing. Don't worry about what the Grizzlies are doing. Those are the only two teams that's going to challenge you. Yeah, the Lakers at 41, but as long as the Rockets do not fall off a cliff, they shouldn't even be worried about the Lakers at this point. They just need to win. I don't expect them to win out. We know that. But the great thing about that, the other teams are not going to win out either. Just try your best not to lose the games you don't supposed to be losing. That's the key. Control your own destiny. Get up for the big games. Finish the deal on teams that are bottom half of the league or not even going to be making the playoffs or the play-in. Take care of your business against those teams. We had some luck on our side tonight, and then y'all took care of business at the same time. But thank God that shooting died down from them 76ers, man. And a lot had to do with the defense of the Rockets that caused them to start missing. They got up into them second half. Happy feet was all over the place, active hands, and it was getting to some bodies. And that's what it takes, man. When a jump shooting team just come in, lighting it on fire like that, that lets you know that, hey, you're not closing some airspace. They was moving around a little too freely out there in that first half. And it was a concern, a big concern. But they bared down and got a grasp of things and turned this thing around late. And I do mean late. Because this was a roller coaster. You didn't think it was going to end. Big shot after big shot by Quentin Grimes. I mean, this guy here, he's got my respect. I've seen him before. He has a nice game, but I'd never seen him like this. This man was as good as Lou Doncic. He was good as Kevin Durant, John Moran, whatever. The man was on top of it. And he was back in Houston. He was here to prove something. You have a guy playing like that. Just think about this for a minute. You got a healthy Joel Embiid ready to go. Paul George turns back into playoff P. You got Tyrese Maxey doing his due. And you got Quentin Grimes and all the other role players. I see what they envisioned. But, hey, like they say, the process, huh? It's the process. Well, that process is going to take a good while longer, depending on next year. They got a lot to think about themselves, that whole franchise. But this is the Houston Rockets night. Congratulations. Outstanding. And it's time to do it on the road now. You done it at home. Great teams do it on the road. So if they can finish strong, Houston can hold on to that second spot, but at worst, they can go to number 3. So this G.S.Q.H. Goodymo Sports Quick Hits. Houston Rockets then pulled it out tonight. Overtime. Clutchest win of the season. Probably the clutchest win for this team that's been put together. Young guys mixed with some veterans. Growth. That's all it is growth. G.S.Q.H. Goodymo Sports Quick Hits. We up out of here. Appreciate your time. Until next time. Peace.